Ah. Okay. God, my hair's a mess. Sorry, I had to tie it back today. Welcome. Hey guys, what's up? It's Big Jack Films here, and welcome to our annual Wednesday live stream. It's good to see you all here. Whoever is about to join us, essentially. And a big welcome to all of our new followers. For people who have just subscribed to us in the last month. So it's good to see you guys. Hello, good old movie trailers. Hello, King Tyrannus 604. Good to see you guys. So, this is essentially a welcome, an open arm greetings from us who are new to the channel, for people who have just subscribed to us. And all I say is, welcome subscribers, welcome new friends, welcome to the Big Jack Films YouTube channel. I just figured I'd fill you guys in on what we do, for those who have been recently following us. I have seen your trailer, Tyrant, and it's not half bad. So we're here to just welcome new members, new people who have joined our subscribers. And basically, what can you expect from this channel? Well, first of all, again, thank you all for subscribing. It really means the world to us that you guys are here to, follow us and everything. But basically what we do, just to catch you up on the speed, we just make movies. We review movies, we talk about movies, we talk about not just movies, and cartoons, TV shows, anime, whatever we feel like discussing, or we feel like talking about, or we feel like making, and we bring it all here for you. It's full of creativity and imagination here at the channel, and we just do whatever we want, and it's our job essentially. So lately a lot of our followers have been joining us recently for two things. One, the recent Godzilla Heisei fan trailers we've been creating, or the fan trailers in general, which lately we've been having a lot of fun with. Now, we're not going to make them a weekly annual thing. We're just going to do them when we feel like it. So for those wondering if I'll do a trailer for this or a trailer for that, probably not. I have some ideas, but they're going to take a bit to kind of essentially put together. Whenever I feel like I'm in the mood for it, I'm kind of... After the Godzilla vs. Mechanicon fan trailer I just kind of wore myself out a little bit, so I need some time to recharge. The other reason for it was because, unlike the Godzilla vs. King Kong Heisei trailer, the Mechanicon trailer got constantly blocked by Toho so many times. Now, we've never had issues with Toho before, so I guess this one trailer was a problem, but we fixed it. We got it fixed. It's no problem. So they're going to be a little bit more... just whenever we feel like it. There's no consistent schedule. It's mostly what we do with our videos. But the other half of people who have just joined us are also the rising return of Inuyasha fans. And I have to say, thank you for subscribing, number one. And number two, I'm so glad to see you guys again. It's been 10 years. I've missed you guys so goddamn much. For those who don't know and who haven't been watching my Inuyasha vlogs, Inuyasha is the #1 show of all time for me, favorite show, bar none, hands down, and it's celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. Now we're thinking, okay, the fans are coming back, 20th anniversary, but no, we got a new show coming out in November. I am super excited for it. Really looking forward to see what they do with this thing. And I'm cautiously optimistic. I know people had their issues with Boruto and other things, but I'm excited. I'm overall very excited to see what they do here. So, yeah, for those who are Inuyasha fans, welcome again. We're going to be doing a couple things with Inuyasha. Obviously, the vlogs are going to be every Monday, essentially. We're going to have that going. But also, things like cosplay, maybe some DIY builds. At some point, Pokemon Ruby, we will do more of those. We will definitely do more of those. But we want to do cosplay DIY. We want to do a couple of things, Inuyasha-wise, to celebrate the 20th anniversary. We're even considering maybe reviewing at least the first movie this year. No promises, but we're going to see what we can do there. But yeah, we've got some ideas here and there on what we want to do and where we want to go. But the main thing is getting an Inuyasha fan film off the ground. Now... for those who are unaware, this fan film, which I've been using our Patreon supporters, the funds are going to go towards this project. basically, our original plan was to do a sequel series, but now that Toho and Rumiko Takahashi have announced it, we've kind of had to figure out kind of basically a secondary plan. We're still going to do a fan film come Hell or High Water, but we do want to essentially wait to see how the episodes pad out and how they handle the timeline, because there are a lot of timeline-driven stuff in the series. And what we're thinking about doing is, if anything, we're going to start with a pilot, and we want to do essentially a prequel, a 40-minute prequel, 45-minute prequel special. Inuyasha's great, Tyrantzilla. Definitely look it up. It's the Lord of the Rings of anime. Hey, did you read the rest of my letter? Yeah, I did. It's interesting, Jared. I can't really if you want me to do a full essay review, all I can say is, like, cool. Like, I'm really looking forward to see what you do with that. Hello, Miser L. Good to see you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. So yeah, we've got some plans for Inuyasha. We've got some plans for some other projects. And so on. So for those who have been catching up, we have been posting these Inuyasha vlogs a lot more frequently. We've got these trailers coming out, but we've got a lot going. And some good news, for those who are the Kong followers here, I have just started editing down the review portions of the next King Kong review. Now, I'm going to say this, in terms of the next King Kong review, we are slowly working on it. I have the audio pretty much recorded of the review segments. I'm gonna be editing those currently, and hopefully, no promises, we could have it out by 2 weeks. No promises, but around 2 weeks, around the end of May, hopefully. Because this week you're going to be seeing a brand new Big Jack Films reviews on another certain anime, not Inuyasha, but something else. That will be coming Friday, on Friday. And then next week, the next week's Friday video will more than likely be a trailer for this next Kong review. Again, no promises, but we are currently editing it right now. It's coming out. And I want to answer, I know, David, you're probably asking this. Am I going to do the How to Train Your Dragon opening nights? I'm going to try to get those out by next week. I'm going to start doing those because tomorrow is our last TikTok compilation for a while. And then we're going to get back to opening night. So the first things I'm going to do is the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. That's going to be the first on my list on every Thursday. We're going to be doing those. Thoughts on the Stuart Little duology? They're okay. I mean, the CGI is not the best, but they're just cute little family movies. That's all I can say. I thought they were okay. But yeah, so that's what's happening. We're going to be doing a bunch of those. I will be talking about some Ray Harryhausen movies down the line. My first one will be on 1 Million Years BC because that is my personal favorite. If you want to see my thoughts on some previous Harryhausen work, the one we have right now is Mighty Joe Young. That was one of our first reviews. If you want to go check it out, check it out. The Terminator movies, okay, so something I do need to bring up in terms of scheduling and in terms of productions. So for those who are new here, our reviews have been getting a bit more ambitious with ideas, ambitious with concepts, ambitions with a lot of stuff, and working with a lot of people. However, due to the current state of the world right now, a lot of these productions are on hold or are slowly being developed. For example, our Star Wars prequel reviews, they are shut down basically because we don't have people to work with. But in the meantime, with whatever we're working with now, along with special effects and everything, we're actually getting a lot of that done now. Like, we're taking our time to do that and catch up at least a little bit on effects work, on solo shots like myself. That's happening. But things like the Terminator series, we do want to get to that in the next season. The original season finale of Ready Player One, Batman, among other things, are going to have to be put on the back burner until we get back to normal. Now, they're still in production. They're still being worked on. I'm going to be slowly filming them. And when it comes to release date, like, I'm still filming these reviews. I'm still doing them. But in terms of release date, that is uncertain. And that is only due to the fact that some of these projects require a few people. And because they require a few people, that means not as much social distancing. So until we can get back to social socializing again, we can't really do these big projects. But thankfully, for the rest of the year at least, I've got a lot of backup plans. I've got some ideas. I've been brainstorming with my writing team, with our producers, and we have a few ideas to kind of pad out until this is over. So you will be seeing a review Friday. We're going to be seeing we're going to probably be seeing a few more King Kong reviews, actually, this year around. We're actually going to be doing a bit more kind of simple reviews. I'm taking a memo from Doug right now, Doug Walker, who actually was a bit of good advice for me, where he said that to just basically do it how you used to do it. It's kind of going back to basics. And honestly, it's not that bad of a deal, you know? I think because we're all so overly ambitious on projects, and now that we can't do it, we kind of have to go kind of rewind and go back to basics. So things like, I mean, I've got some ideas, some projects and kind of stuff that I've had kind of on the side that I might bring in now to make it easier. We've got things like certain reviews that were going to be big projects might be decreased a bit to be solo reviews, simple reviews. I have some ideas for more Let's Talk discussion videos. I have so many other ideas. Now, in terms of the season finale, which was supposed to be in December on Ready Player One, that's going to be delayed again until this is over, because that requires a lot of people. We are writing the script currently. Things are coming along on that. However, again, it's going to be probably delayed for a bit. However, I'll say this, though. We have, thankfully, a backup season finale. A total backup that I actually filmed and prepped a year ago. So thankfully, we're actually going to be putting that on the agenda for December rather than Ready Player One. So basically, any big-time projects, like big productions that we've been planning for this year, the big ones, are more than likely going to be pushed to next year. Again, I apologize. So that means a season's worth of videos are going to be pushed another year. So that's going to be another season. And that's honestly okay, because safety first, as Brian says, safety first. But this actually, again, this gives us a good opportunity to maybe talk about stuff we haven't discussed before, things we can kind of pad out. So basically, if I were to describe this better, this is going to be essentially a filler season. There's not going to be much in terms of story and plot, although we are going to try with whatever we can. We're going to try with whatever we can. So, basically, reviews that we have planned, essentially, that are still going to happen. Things like, obviously, the review coming out Friday, some King Kong reviews, the books, and a few other things. In fact, one episode I'm going to be working on, I've actually been ordering stuff for it. I've been ordering certain items online to show you guys, to do this episode. Things like, actually, we came up with actually a new episode that we didn't even think we would do, and it's going to be kind of a compromise. It's going to be a compromise for you guys and a compromise for us. So everybody wins, essentially. So we're going to be doing an episode on that probably after the following episode. No, not Jumanji, Huey. Well, maybe Jumanji. I will consider that an option. I will think about it. It's no promises. But again, there's projects that are going to be big projects that are going to be put on the back burner because of what's going on. And that means like big ambitious projects that require groups of people. So that is currently our situation. So basically we're making do with what we got, and we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. We got to show that there's some light in this. Look, I've been seeing reports lately that, there is no cure and we're going to have to live with it. And look, if we live with it, we live with it. But if anything, we got to keep going in a positive light, essentially. So hopefully things come out. But yeah, again, I can't say if I'm going to review something, especially if we have it planned as a big project. And you gotta remember, these projects might take a long time to do. It's not that we're not listening. It's not that we're not taking requests. It's that we need to essentially take our time on them. Like, if they're on the schedule and they require big, ambitious projects, like, if I could show you a chart of how it works, I could say, here are the big projects. Here are the small projects you're going to get in the meantime. We're going to push these to the side. But, again, Legend is still on the schedule. 1 Million Years BC is on the schedule. We've got ideas. We've got things to do. Another thing we've been considering is, again, updating our Patreon, and one of the ideas we have is to basically have Patreon requested episodes. And basically what we would do is we'd set up a certain Patreon goal. If you donate a certain amount, you can have an episode made that you requested. We're really considering that. But that would require certain amounts that are going to help cover the cost of the bills, essentially. So we're going to keep that going. So just a couple updates for you guys. We're all good. We just want to give you an update on big projects. Like if you're expecting Batman, if you're expecting Ready Player One, if you're expecting Terminator this year, probably gonna have to wait a little bit. It's gonna take a while to get those off the schedule. So in the meantime, for those who are new here, you can ask us questions. We always do question Q&As during this time, and we sometimes like to talk and ramble about stupid shit too. But of course, if you guys want to help support the channel, donations, if you want to send us props, if you want to send us fan letters, if you want to send us artwork, you can. So at this address, Big Jack Films, PL Box 326, Queensville, Ontario, L0G1R0. We always look forward to reading them, and if you guys send us fan mail, we'll actually talk about them here in the live stream, so that's a plus. On top of that, just if you want to send us donations, hell, fan art, whatever you want to do, you can send them to us. Yes, GoG91. I am still selling VHS tapes of Kong. We haven't had many sales lately, but basically, if you guys want a VHS copy of our Kong remake, they're in these nice clamshell VHSs. We still have plenty in stock. They're $5 plus shipping. So depending on where you are, the shipping might be a little bit more pricey than the full price of the tape. But thankfully, the tape is pretty much cheap as hell. Like, it's a $5 tape. And they're specifically made. So, we will definitely, like, if you still want a copy, just send us a message via Twitter or Facebook, and you send us our PayPal, and we'll get that to you. We will get stuff going for you if you guys want a copy on VHS. We're also speaking of which, we've got maybe a couple of extra videos that we might be working on that involve our Kong remake. Some documents and files and videos that you guys have never seen before. We're going to be pumping those out pretty soon, because we're coming up in September, the official 10-year mark of when we officially started doing this project. So what we're going to do is, like, again, I've talked to a few people about certain things we want to release to the public, and they're okay with it. We're also going to be working on a documentary. We're going to be getting that going, but things are working out, basically. Things are going as followed. So there's that. Maybe Walking with Dinosaurs again. It just depends on our schedule. It depends on what we're doing. Right now, we're mostly, because we have our episode coming out Friday that we had finished a week ago. If you guys want to see it early, go support us on Patreon. We're now focusing on a King Kong review. That's going to be next on our project. Have I seen the videos from Shinobi03? He's really great. Is he the guy who's been really talking about Inuyasha, who's got a lot of views, got a lot of subscribers? Because I've seen him a few times. He's actually pretty cool. I like him. Which Sailor Scout do you think King Kong would have an affection for? I would say Venus, if anything. How do you feel yesterday was the 20th anniversary of your favorite movie? Oh, God. When you were learning how to spell your name, I was trained to Coca Galaxy. Piece of shit. Oh, my God. Piece of shit. And you know what? I'll just have fighting words here. You know what I think is a terrible movie? And one I've considered talking about. Saying it's a bad movie. Independence Day. I don't care. I don't like Independence Day. I hate it. I hate it. It's terrible. You're literally, it's the equivalent of eating garbage juice out of a can. Ugh, just terrible movie. I like your Godzilla versus King Kong Japanese trailer. Yeah, it's bad. And the sequel's worse. The sequel's worse. It's a piece of shit. What are your thoughts on the opinions on Michael Dougherty's Godzilla BC movie idea? I'm up for it. See, in terms of a backstory for the legendary Godzilla, here's what I would do. I would essentially, basically, how should I put it? Basically, because looking at all three films thus far, my idea would be that, yes, Godzilla was a god among humanity of nature and the natives and the fucking, Atlantis crap, I get that. But here's what I'm thinking. He looked like Godzilla, but he wasn't Godzilla enough. He was like Godzilla-saurus-sized. And my idea is that you still can do 1954, like the events of 54, in this legendary universe. It's just a little different. For example, you have it where Godzilla was created from the atomic bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And then, maybe around December 1953, Godzilla attacks Japan. So then when the 1954 bombs come in, with the Lucky Dragon incident, it was not made to create Godzilla. It was trying to kill it. And it obviously just made the radiation bigger. So maybe even you go back to 54. It's not just Godzilla was created from nuclear radiation. He was awakened. Maybe he went into hibernation. The bombs kind of woke him up and he's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? So you basically have that motive to keep him growing, much like Kong. And that is how you could actually do 54 in the legendary Monsterverse. It happened, but in different circumstances. Sailor Moon versus the Green Ranger. How about all the Sailor Scouts versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? If anything, Sailor Jupiter versus the Green Ranger, I would pay to see. Thunder versus Dragon Zord or something like that, I don't know. Maybe because she uses Thunder, she can use the Thunder Zords. I don't know. What the heck is spamming? I have no... Spamming is just people who just constantly throw constant comments at you without a break. Which is better, AVP or AVPR? AVP. Although, to be fair, I do like the hybrid creature in AVPR. Again, I'm slowly getting into the Alien Predator movies. If you could own any dinosaur puppet from the land that time forgot, what would it be? The T-Rex puppet. That thing's cool. I love those T-Rex puppets. Shinobi 3 is the Defender of Fallen King. Yeah, okay. I don't think I've ever seen him. But if I really just... I don't know. I don't know if I could really defend that film. No, just Sailor Moon versus Green Ranger. Green Ranger. I'm sorry, but Serena is just kind of a wuss. She doesn't stand a chance. Thoughts on classic Muppets episodes? Okay, so my history... If you want to know my history of the Muppets, Tyler... My history of the Muppets is very interesting. I knew about it. I grew up with Sesame Street, as everybody else did. I grew up with a lot of that. I think my first real Muppet experience was Muppet Treasure Island, which to me is my favorite Muppet movie of all time. Tim Curry is great in that. I watched it actually again recently. It's still a hilarious film. Love it. Absolutely love it. After that, it was things like, I remember watching reruns of The Muppet Show. I remember Muppet Babies. Muppet Babies was actually, I really got a huge kick out of Muppet Babies, especially when they were parodying Star Wars. Whenever they did Star Wars stuff, it was great. Top 2 episodes for me of Muppet Babies, Gonzo's Video Show. Key reason, this is a funny story. So, 1999, Phantom Menace is coming out. Big Star Wars fan. I'm kind of excited. I see this episode of Gonzo's Video Show air on Nickelodeon. And it was the one where they get a Super 8 camera and they start recreating Star Wars. That actually sparked me to do my own version of The Phantom Menace, which was my first film. My first movie ever made. Someday I might release it. Who knows? Maybe that's something I do on my spare time. But yeah. Love Gonzo's Video Show. The other one being Muppet Babies The Next Generation. Not a show, it was an episode where they were spoofing Star Wars, Star Trek, the Jetsons. It was just hilarious. You see like 5 different Kermits in one thing. And I think Piggy said, I don't know who's writing this, but give him a big bonus. I love it. It's hilarious. So basically, so Muppet Babies was my thing. And then, slowly got into Muppet Christmas Carol, Muppet Classic Theater, which I think is actually an underrated Muppet movie, honestly, Muppet Classic Theater. You know, and then I did see the 2011 Muppets. I thought it was okay. It was a nice little nostalgia. I didn't see the last one. But for me, Muppets is very 50-50. If they're like spoofing movies or they're spoofing Star Wars, then I'm totally in. How would you feel if HBO Max made an animated show of Rampage? I don't know if I'd feel. I mean, again, animated kaijus are not my thing. By the way, guys, can you please not fight on the stream? Please? I appreciate that. Thank you. Just keep things to yourself. Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Never grew up with that. Never grew up with that. Never grew up with those. I was a little too late for the Nintendo cartoons. Those are actually Allosaurs. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, Allosaurs. All right, that works. That works. That's pretty good. Yeah, because like I mean those things are cool. Because it's funny with Land That Time Forgot. I'll say this: Land That Time Forgot, and it's okay, Brian. Land That Time Forgot and 1 Million Years BC. The first thing I ever saw of those movies was essentially a documentary called Jurassic Giants, Dinosaurs, and More. It was by a company called UAV. You can actually find this movie on YouTube. You can find this documentary on YouTube. It's still a pretty decent one. But it was my first exposure, I believe, to Ray Harryhausen. It was my first exposure. The first scene I saw was the Allosaurus attacking the cavemen, or the Shell tribe. And the footage they used, it wasn't just 1 million years BC, it was from the Land That Time Forgot. So a lot of these dinosaur effects that I watched on this documentary, I thought as a kid were pretty fucking solid effects. Like, they looked like real dinosaurs. I still consider them some of the best effects. So it was that, and then they also used the like B-roll footage of those robot dinosaurs by Dynamation that were a huge thing in the 80s and 90s, Dynamation. Their animatronic dinosaurs have been at every tour imaginable. So those were kind of my first exposures to those films. So if you want to see where I first saw these images of these films, go check out Jurassic Giants, Dinosaurs, and More. You'll have to just type that in and type in, I don't know, UAV, dinosaurs or something. But it's a pretty fascinating documentary, and some of my favorite scientists and paleontologists are in that documentary. Worst Michael Bay or Roland Emmerich film? I can name a few. Worst Roland Emmerich film? Definitely Independence Day. And fucking 10,000 BC. And fucking 2012. He makes terrible movies. The only two movies I thought Roland Emmerich actually did good was Zilla, because it's a 90s monster movie. It's not a Godzilla movie, but it's a 90s monster movie. I had fun with it. The other one, I enjoyed The Patriot. I really enjoyed The Patriot. Yeah, it's a Braveheart ripoff. They got Mel Gibson anyway, and it's just Braveheart, but in the American Revolution. But it's okay. I'm okay with that. What's his name? Fucking Jason Isaacs, great bad guy in that. It's a decent film, The Patriot. And it's funny too, because lately I've been watching a lot of history oversimplified or simplified history. So I watched the one on the American Revolution and World War II. And what I really love is I discovered somebody I never knew existed in the American Revolution. That being Captain John Paul Jones. People just say John Paul Jones. No. Captain John Paul Jones. If you guys don't know your history, especially for Americans, this is your history lesson of the day. Captain John Paul Jones was not only Scottish, he was, I believe in history, the only American pirate that sailed the seven seas. People say, oh, he was an officer, he was working for the United States. No. His tactics were of piracy. He was a pirate. And a kick-ass pirate nonetheless. So for those who say, oh, all pirates are from the Caribbean, all pirates are from England. No. We had at least, Americans had at least one pirate. And he was a badass motherfucker. This guy worked for the Americans. He sailed to England. He stole a ship, brought it to France, and then the France told him, oh, get us more ships. To the point where King George was so pissed off at this guy, this American pirate, that he claimed him as a pirate. Like, one of the last pirates of the seven seas. Fucking love it. Love that. I love that there's I finally learned that there is a pirate that is in the name of the United States of America. For once, there's a pirate, and I love it. Why is this not a movie? Why is this not a Pirates of the Caribbean-esque movie about Captain John Paul Jones? That man is an American hero. That man's an American hero. And I don't care. I just, look, he's a pirate. He's a pirate. And it's awesome. He's a fucking pirate. I love it. You know, if I did, a movie about the American Revolution, I'd make him, where he shows up, and they're like, oh, Captain John Paul Jones, the pirate! Yeah! And then, freaking George Washington's like, pirate? He's like, I told you I was famous, mate. You know, just something like that. I want to see that now. God damn it. I would love to review the Pirates of the Caribbean series. I have an idea of what I would do with it. But again, overambitious production. It would take a while to make, man. Not gonna lie. But that, again, is it's something I've thought about. Which suit do you like to own? The Gorosaurus suit or the T-Rex suit from The Last Dinosaur? Which Gorosaurus? Is it the one from the, Oh, okay, Gorosaurus I like more. Better design, better looking. The scales are great. Last Dinosaur just looks really bad. Really? 31 years ago. So the date was, what, May something? 1984? It's like, the day is it! The date! Tuesday! August the 5th! What year? Love the Terminator. Who would you win to fight? Gremlins or Critters? Gremlins. Critters are really weird. I have not seen Sonic, and I have not seen Jumanji 3. However, I might plan on maybe doing an opening night on that. A late one, at least. Thoughts on 10,000 BC? Hate it. Thoughts on the dinosaur images, also thoughts on Inuyasha's daughter. Holy shit, there's comments going a mile a minute. Hang on. Thoughts on dinosaur images, also thoughts on Inuyasha's daughter, plus my Isabel predicted Inuyasha having a daughter. Good idea. And that's the thing, Inuyasha Dinosaur 101. Given the shows coming up, you might want to consider some rewrites to try to fit some continuity in there. At least try. Any other retrospect? Okay, I think Piranha and Orca are the best Jaws ripoffs. Yeah, Orca's great. Any other retrospectives you have wanted to do? I want to try to basically, because the thing is, obviously people here on my channel are here for the Kong content, as well as other monster content, dinosaur content. That's normally what I'm mainly for. But I do want to try to move into other things, and I'm slowly, gradually doing that. I'm doing that with fantasy currently. So things like Legend is on the to-do list as a review. Doing the Inuyasha vlogs is something I've been doing. I'm trying to get more into anime, among other things. I thought about discussing other things. Maybe some more Disney would be something I'd love to do. There's one I've considered maybe reviewing this year. No promises. Thought about doing Universal Monster movies. Mummy Month is again a production that's going to be put on hold for a little bit until this is over. But yeah, I have ideas. There are some films that I don't think get as much. I like to talk about films that don't get as much recognition, or things like that. So things like, I talked about the Felix the Cat movie. That movie everybody hates, but I personally love it. That, and also things like I'm trying to think of some other, because here's the thing, when I was a kid and I used to rent movies from the video store, I rented a lot of obscure animated films. And there's a couple I feel get a lot of backlash, and I personally love them. So Felix the Cat was one of them. The Tom and Jerry movie, I actually kind of like. I hate to say it, I kind of like that movie. Things like, there were a couple released by a certain video company. I think it was like Helmdale or something. But they released 3 films. The Magic Voyage, Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland, which is technically a Miyazaki movie, as well as The Princess and the Goblin. I grew up with a lot of obscure animated films. The Gumby movie is maybe something I'd love to talk about, because I love Gumby. And Gumby is, completely forgotten about. If you were to... Okay, because here's the thing with Gumby, guys. Gumby was, back in the 50s and 60s onwards, Gumby was as popular back then as SpongeBob is now. Like, think about that. Gumby was the SpongeBob of the 1950s to, like, the 90s. How the hell have they not tried to revive Gumby? Like, whether you do it as stop motion or you do it as a CGI series, as long as you stay true to the original Gumby mythology, the original Gumby series, I'm okay with that if it's, like, on Netflix or something. Like, how we have not had a revival, and hell, if you do a revival of Gumby, make it like SpongeBob. I actually would be okay with that. I would be okay with a SpongeBob-esque Gumby revival. Let's do that. That'd be fantastic. Let's see. See Oliver Harper's new trailer for Search of Darkness horror documentary. Yeah, I've seen it. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, but I'm a big fan of Oliver Harper. In fact, Oliver Harper, I have to give major credit for introducing me to a lot of movies I didn't know about. So he introduced me to Legend. He introduced me to Black Rain, which is a Ridley Scott movie I really want to watch now. Akira. There's so many films that he kind of got me into. Scariest kaiju in the Godzilla franchise, probably, I'm going to have to say Shin Godzilla is one of the most terrifying. If Michael Dougherty's Godzilla BC movie idea was made, who would you want to see the music score? Same guy who did King of the Monsters. I'm thinking about Isabel Biagioni, Asha's sister, along kidding with Safari Limited new characters. Okay, that works. That works fine, man. Anonymous is a lousy. Seeing Emmerich is one of those people who didn't believe Shakespeare wrote anything play. See, you know what it is, Huey? I haven't seen that film, but my favorite Shakespeare movie, I don't know if you agree with me, I don't know if you've ever seen it or if you think it's a good movie. Do you like Shakespeare in Love? Because I freaking love Shakespeare in Love. Shakespeare in Love is probably my favorite Shakespeare movie about Shakespeare. Yes, it's satirical. Yes, it's a comedy. Yes, it's not accurate, but I love that film. I love Shakespeare in Love. Okay, and Guardian's question, I'm just gonna say, we had plans to discuss that, but it's not like a sequel. So we're thinking about some shit. We're thinking about maybe discussing something in that realm at some point. Thoughts on The Prince of Egypt? It's funny because I've actually been seeing it get a lot more discussions lately. I haven't seen it since it came out in theaters, and I remember it being a very interesting but also long experience watching that film. I have not seen it since. There are a couple of DreamWorks movies, like the 2D animated ones, that I've kind of thought about going back to. One being Road to El Dorado. I've seen some of that movie. I'm like, that movie's great. Sinbad. Really like that Sinbad movie they did, but I haven't seen Prince of Egypt in like probably 20 years. Over 20 years, actually. It's been a long time. The last time I saw it was in cinemas in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is really funny. This is a great story. I lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for a time, from like 98 to 2002. And I had the privilege of seeing both Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, in that town. Do you know who else was living in that town the exact same time? Mr. fucking Plinkett. You know, hey everyone, it's me, Mr. Plinkett, and I'm here to talk about how much the Star Wars prequels suck on my cat pussy. The fact that a little old me, a little kid, probably saw Phantom Menace in the exact same theater as Mr. fucking Plinkett is the funniest thing to me. It's the funniest thing. I swear to God. Oh, that sounds like that's hilarious. You know, that I saw episodes 1 and 2 probably when Plinkett saw them. And like, isn't that fucking crazy? Review Plan 9 for Outer Space. You see, your stupid minds. Stupid. I haven't seen that many Ed Wood films. The closest I've seen is the Tim Burton film, which I loved. I only watched it recently, a couple of years ago, thanks to Josh recommended me, and I love it. I don't know. I don't know if that would be up my alley. Kong versus Spinosaurus. Kong. The things... Okay, they've turned Spinosaurus, guys, into a fucking newt. He's a fucking oversized newt. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Um, like, Spinosaurus sucks, guys. I'm saying Anonymous is a movie that glorifies the conspiracy theory that Shakespeare was a fraud. No, I don't know. It was too far back to even remember that shit, honestly. I love Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Smith. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, great film. In fact, you know what? People who watch that, double feature it with Big Lebowski. You're in for a fun ride. What do you think of some of DreamWorks' worst movies? Hands down, the entire fucking Shrek movies. I know that my words are pretty much guilty of war crime, but I'm sorry, the internet ruined that shit. The internet ruined Shrek for me. Other than that, Ants. Ants has an interesting story, great score, but the animation's fucking horrible. How about Kong versus Giganosaurus Kong again? Yeah, he looks like a Duck King Tyrannosaurus. All I think is that, what's that review? This guy did a review of the whole original Jurassic Park trilogy, and whenever the Spinosaurus came up, he's like, Duck love. You know, he's like, shows a picture of a mounted Spinosaurus head and then puts a duck thing on him. It's hilarious. Oh, that's cool, David. You lived in where I used to live. That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really neat. Any plan to collab with Wikzilla? I don't know. I don't know much about... See, the thing is with the Godzilla community, guys, I love you guys so much. Like, you guys are really sticking around. But remember, I'm more Kong. I'm not that huge into Godzilla. Like, I love Godzilla. Don't get me wrong. Grew up with that shit. But I'm a Kong guy. And when it comes to mythology, I'm all about King Kong. When it comes to history, I'm all about Kong. Know very little about the different histories of Godzilla. All I know is if there's a movie coming out, I'm interested. Do you think Inuyasha... Holy shit, we're gonna like a lot of people. What would you direct? Who would direct Monster Hunter if Paul W.S. Anderson never directed? I have not sat through many Paul W.S. Anderson movies because I saw one movie he made and I immediately hated him. That being Three Musketeers, aka one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Spinosaurus is an awesome dinosaur. Don't let one movie about it cloud your judgment over it. See, it's okay, but it's just hilarious to see what they've turned this thing into. It's funny. It's not saying he's bad. I'm saying it's funny. I'm also working on designs for one of the crossover characters named Corin, like Fire Emblem. Okay, that's cool. I plan to start a film YouTube channel soon. All this quarantine stuff, I thought... Exactly! This is something I want to give advice to people. During this quarantine time, if there's ever a time to start up a YouTube channel, now's the fucking time. Now's the time to really express yourself and do what you enjoy others doing and expressing your opinion and allowing yourself to be creative. I tell this especially to people who do movie reviews and people who do Lego animation, stop motion. Now's a good time to really express your craft and show what you can do and do some experiments and see what comes up, see what clicks, see what doesn't click. If something doesn't click, maybe find something else to do with it, you know? This is a good time because you may not get a chance like this again before you have to go get a freaking job like normal people. So take advantage of this. Take advantage of this opportunity and pump out as much videos as you can. It's like, go my children, go my minions, you know, come my minions, rise for your master. Oh, I love that movie. That movie's so historically inaccurate, but it's epic as hell. It's huge. That song kicks ass. R-rated Goosebumps series. Do not care. Haven't watched Goosebumps since, the 90s. Kagome and Nezuko. Don't know who Nezuko is. R-rated Goosebumps. Okay. What do you think about the music score for Godzilla BC? Absolutely. I also have plans of a Kong world for my series based on the 1976 remake, but I don't know how we should. Just be creative. Use your imagination, man. You know, everybody thinks, oh, I just want to, cash in on something. How about, use a bit of this, guys? Use a bit of creativity. Favorite Godzilla theme? Favorite version of the theme? That's tough. It's really between, I would say, the 95 version from Destroya, the end credits. It's the one from Always Sunset on Thirst Street 2. It's the one from recent King of the Monsters, but there's one on YouTube that I've been really digging. I can't remember who did it, but it's a really good cover. I have no opinion on that Scooby-Doo movie. I have not seen the 1956 one, Donnie. There's a couple movies I need to catch up on. Mortal Kombat? Maybe. I'm not big into Mortal Kombat. I never grew up with the games. I didn't grow up to the game. I didn't play the games until recently. They're okay. I don't think I have much to write on in terms of the film or the movies, especially the sequel. All I heard is the sequel's a piece of shit. I don't know, maybe make it its separate island, Inuyasha Dinosaur 101, make it its own separate thing. And yes, for that person who asked that question, Inuyasha is a great series. It's my personal favorite series of all time. Like, top 2... JT is reborn! Good to see you! Guys, go subscribe to him. He does great DC videos. To name top 2 favorite TV shows of all time, number 2 is Home Movies. Home Movies is a brilliant show. Number 1, Inuyasha. Epic beyond epics. Like, just amazing. Sailor Moon versus Moonstar from Silverhawks. Sailor Moon. Because I don't know who Moonstar is. I'm just going to have to say she's going to use that tiara shit. My novel has some fantasy elements to it. Excellent, Brian. Yes, do that. Yes, guys, go subscribe to GT's Reborn. If Inuyasha and Universal Monsters clash, what would happen? Dracula would get killed instantly by Tetsaiga. Unless you create half-demon vampires. If you had chosen a better conch theme? What's a conch theme? You know what? I'll say this, David. I thought about talking about the Flintstones movies, the first 2, because I kind of like them. I kind of love them. I kind of love those 2 Flintstones movies. What do I hate about Ants? It's just terrible animation. It's terrible animation and one other reason. Woody Allen. And, okay, it's 3 things. Terrible animation. Woody Allen, because he's a creep. I don't care. He's a creep. To me. And Jeffrey Katzenberg. Because Jeffrey Katzenberg, as everybody says, is a petty asshole. He basically left Disney with a big middle finger and took the Destroyer of A Bug's Life with them and ripped them off. Ripped Pixar off. All because he wanted the throne of Disney from Michael Eisner's dead hands. Yeah, it's just a mean-spirited, terrible casting, badly animated film that has not aged well. Am I going to review any Westerns? That is a definite also maybe too, because there's a couple Westerns I do want to talk about maybe at some point, and I might have a cosplay for it to maybe settle it. Let's see. There we go. I find Ants kind of funny. There's parts where it's funny. The score is fantastic. I'll say that. The score is brilliant. That whole scene where the ants are fighting the termites, that's right out of Starship Troopers. That scene is epic. The general's plan is diabolical. Basically to repopulate the ant colony with the super soldier strong ones. So basically, what I don't understand about it, because you have the general, and he wants to make Bala his queen. Why not just round up all the other females? Just saying. I hated Cowboys versus Aliens, David. I hated it. I saw that at the drive-in, and I felt so ripped off. I was like, piece of shit movie. Terrible. Inuyasha composer did a Godzilla movie. No, it's funny. Karawada Smith actually did do a Godzilla soundtrack, and it was for a cover of the original 54 film. Go look up Karawada Godzilla, and you'll find that. Quick thoughts on Prince of Egypt, Road to El Dorado, Treasure Planet, and Atlantis. Prince of Egypt I haven't seen in 20 years. Road to El Dorado still holds up. Also, Shell is hot as hell. Atlantis, great adventure movie. And what was the last one? Treasure Planet? I've never seen fully. All I know is it's steampunk pirates. Now, I love pirates. I gotta be honest, guys, I'm not a big steampunk person. I'm sorry, I'm not a big steampunk person. It's just not my thing, so it doesn't gel well with pirates for me. Thoughts on American Graffiti? Great hippie movie. Great movie. Early George Lucas film. Why do I find Woody Allen creepy? Have you seen what he does? He was, from what I heard, he was very abusive to Mia Farrow, who I love dearly. She's a great actress. She's already been through hell with Roman Polanski. But also, did you not hear about him wanting to marry his unborn child? That's kind of fucked up. And also, his movies aren't really that good. His movies aren't that good. I'm sorry. They're not that good. Woody Allen doesn't make very good movies. They're very dry, very boring movies. He's not even funny to me. He's not funny. And given his history, it's like, ugh. I'm good, Kevin O'Bell. Good to see you. Very good to see you. And actually, in fact, you've just caught the last 10 minutes of the stream, because normally at the 50-minute mark, we call it a day. So we're going to answer 3 more questions, and then I'm just going to do out some last-minute plug-outs and shout-outs, and we're going to call it a day. So, last 3 questions. Let's go. You know who could play Woody Allen? Johnny Depp. You know what? Yeah. In a biopic? Absolutely. But I won't count that as a question. What movies that you were mentioned are bad? The Shrek movies, Ants, early DreamWorks stuff, except for their 2D animated stuff is great. Did not, I'm trying to think of some bad ones. Independence Day I hated. Did not care for, I think that's about it, all I really talked about. So that's question number 1. Let's see here. Say Big Jack Films, what are your favorite parts of the MonsterVerse Son of Godzilla letter I sent you? Again, I like the idea that it's going to be very ET based. So just keep up the good work, man. Keep up the good work. I am not answering that question, JT. I refuse. No, that's messed up. Okay, I'm going to pick one more. Okay, this one's good. What are some of my favorite drama films? This is a good one. I don't know what clarifies as drama, but I can list a few that I really like. By the Sword is a great film. I just discovered that recently when I did my top 10 sword fights videos. Great drama film. Basically think Karate Kid, but with sword fighting. It's awesome. Forrest Gump, I really like. Forrest Gump's a great drama. Great film. Things like, trying to think, like Titanic. You know, there's some good dramas in there. Like, there's a lot of great dramatic films. If you ask me if I like Gone with the Wind, the answer is no. That movie's boring other than the fire, only because that was the original wall from Kong 33. Other than that, that movie's boring as fucking shit. Casablanca's a good drama. Trying to think some other dramas that I like. I liked Captain Phillips. Captain Phillips is great. There's some decent films out there, drama-wise, that I can tune in once in a while. Road to Perdition's a good one. The Godfather. There's some decent films out there. Okay, I'm gonna answer this last question from Huey TOONMORE, and then we're gonna call it a day. My most hated adaptation of The Lost World. Okay, I'll put it like this. It's really hard to choose. I'd say in terms of quality and how it was made as a remake, an anticipated remake, 1960. Granted, Claude Rains is great as Challenger. Granted, I don't mind the effects of lizards with fucking frills and shit. Yes, it's terrible, but at least it was decent for the time. But the fact that they didn't, like, Willis O'Brien wanted to make that film. It probably would have been his last movie. An updated version of the 25 classic, and they didn't bother. And it's just a boring film, too. There's not many dinosaur scenes. And the cast can only hold on for so long. That little poodle is annoying as fucking shit. There's some characters that are just god-awful. It's not a good remake. See, the badness depends, Huey. It depends. Things like the John Rhys-Davies one. I'll say this, out of all the challengers I've seen on film, actors, John Rhys-Davies is great in that. And only because he says the title so cool. He's like, what is that? That is the Lost World. You know, he's great in that. But the problem is, having talked to the guy in person, and I told him I saw this movie as a kid on VHS, and I was like, where's all the dinosaurs? They're in the corner. And he laughed, and he was like, my damn. Like, I can quote what he says. It's a great story. So I'm meeting John Rhys-Davies, Gimli from Lord of the Rings, and Sala from Indiana Jones. And I'm there, and I'm talking with him, and I just said, I really like your work, man. I loved you in Lord of the Rings, but I wanted to know, because I want to ask him more about the Lost World that he was in. And I said, I loved this movie. You were a great Professor Challenger. You really did well you really respected Conan Doyle's material. But the problem was, I was told him, like, I was a kid, I was wondering, where's all the dinosaurs? And this is literally what Rhys was like. He was listening to me, he's like, my dear boy, oh my boy, they ran out of money. That's the simple version, they ran out of money. And I was like, no kidding. And I was just telling him, like we had a great conversation, me and Sir John Rhys-Davies. Wonderful gentleman, wonderful guy to talk to. In fact, guys, you know what? Fuck it. I'll put in a shout out to him. John Rhys-Davies has a YouTube channel. I'll put a link after this live stream to his channel. He's fantastic. You know what? Go to his channel and just enjoy his work, because it's very relaxing. It's like you could sit in meditation. You could sit in a library and you could just listen to him, and he's great. And during this time, this is the thing, during this lockdown, he's actually started a YouTube channel. And he's only got like 1,000 subscribers. This is John Rhys-Davies. This is Sala. This is Professor Challenger. This is Gimli, son of Glowin, descendants of the kings under the mountains of Erebor. And Moria, the last dwarf standing in the mines of Moria, a defender of Middle-earth. Guys, go subscribe to this guy. He's awesome. So, big shout out to John Rhys-Davies. Go check out his channel. I'll put a link after this stream. But back to the Lost World. Back to dinosaurs on islands again, because that's what we're good for. The idea is that, so the 98 remake. So, I'm a minor, very weeny bit defender of that film. I don't like it either. I'll admit it, Huey. I don't like it either. The effects do not look good in some areas. The acting's terrible. They really butcher these characters. But, visually, there are some visuals that are actually not half bad. There are some scenes that are not half bad. Like, they're awfully executed, but for what they were doing, it was fine. For example, I thought that scene with the oversized raptor T-Rex thing that kills the old dude, who I keep thinking is Challenger, but I don't think it is. It's the guy who looks like John Hammond. Because obviously this movie was ripping off Jurassic Park. And I think next to Carnosaur, it's one of the best Jurassic Park ripoffs. So that scene was actually not half bad. It was cheap effects, but it's charming. It's cute. There's still a puppet. There's still CGI. And in some areas, some of the CGI isn't half bad. Like I said, that Raptor T-Rex thing is actually not that bad of an effect in CGI for the time. The Brontosaurus with the club tail, it's stupid, yes. But it's a unique design, and I like the idea that Professor Challenger guy's like, hey, I guess it's back to the drawing boards and paleontology. There's some quirky lines in there. But there are some dinosaur effects that look awful. Those copies, which are literally ripping off Spielberg's Lost World, those look awful. Those look awful. Those are terrible. There's some dinosaur effects that look like shit. But to be fair, Huey, it's better than the Asylum movies. Look, I'll put it like this. I would rather watch 98 Lost World than King of the Lost World. Or 100 million BC. At least there's some fun to be had with the film. And what did you say before? What is it? Let's see. It says, yeah, they literally butchered the characters. Why the hell did they make The Lost World a horror movie instead of an action adventure? By the way, that was... Okay, yeah. So for me, it was like... And that's the thing. We've had so many adaptations of The Lost World over the years. There's plenty of great ones. if you like a Lost World redo that has the dinosaurs be scary, which, to be fair, since the first Jurassic Park, I enjoy good, scary-ass dinosaurs. It works. For me, it works. It doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me. I enjoy a couple dinosaurs being scary and killing people. So for me, thought it was, it's a guilty pleasure, to say the least. The BBC one with Bob Hoskins, okay, it's pretty decent, but there were a lot of, BBC was really whoring themselves out after the success of Walking with Dinosaurs. Yes, that series was fucking brilliant. It's still brilliant. The spin-off Big Al is great. Why does nobody talk about that anymore? But then you got things like they had, what was it? Was it Prehistoric Park? Were they the same people who did Walking with Dinosaurs? I can't remember. But there were so many other TV movies and shows that basically used the same, model dinosaurs from Walking with Dinosaurs because they were cheap. And they were already made. So, it was okay. And then wasn't there like a TV series as well at the same time, which was really confusing for me. Lost World, I feel, has not gotten that proper big budget live action adaptation. The closest we're probably ever going to get is the Spielberg movie, but that's based on the Crichton novel. Yes, Spielberg took a lot of elements from Doyle's novel, but for Crichton, it's more that. We just haven't gotten the proper Conan Doyle adaptation, big budget, whatever. So there's that going on. So anyway, guys, that's it for this live stream. We're already going on an hour. That's good. That's very good. Thank you so much for that question, Huey. If you guys have any more questions, let me know in the comments section below. And if you want to send us fan letters, if you want to send us, gifts, donations to help us with the channel, you can either support us on Patreon, just $1 or more. We'll get you early access to all of our content, as well as other special features. Or you can send it to this mailing address, Big Jack Films, P.O. Box 326, Queensville, Ontario, L0G1R0. All the information and mailing will be in the description down below. As well, if you guys want a copy of our Kong movie on VHS, they're $5 plus shipping. Just send us a message via Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. We can always get messages there. And reach out to us. And if you want to send us what it is, we'll get it going. So, once again, before we go, I want to give a few shout-outs to essentially 3 people this time. First of all, again, John RHYS-DAVIES. He has his own YouTube channel, so we want to support the guy however we can. So, guys, I'll leave a description down below to him. Go subscribe to him and tell him I sent you. Tell him this fan of his sent you, and if he ever wants to talk, let him know. That's number 1. Number 2 shout-out is I'm going to give a shout-out to Huey TOONMORE of Huey's Animated Movie Reviews. Guys, he could really use the support right now. Go check out his Patreon. Go check out his YouTube channel. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description down below. Please do that. And finally, a big shout out I want to give to, once again, is BATTYALANA on Instagram. For those who don't know, she is our live action Android 18. She has been doing really well during lockdown. She's been just keeping very occupied and everything. But, guys, go follow her on Instagram. Go support her. I think she's been taking a break from the cosplay community for a bit, but we want to kind of help her out a bit and show support. So please go check out her Instagram and tell her I sent you. I'd really appreciate that from you guys. She's a really great talent and could really use the support. And yeah, like honestly, that's really about it, guys. So tune in tomorrow when you see our very special TikTok compilation. You guys are gonna love this, especially you kaiju fans. Y'all gonna love this TikTok compilation. This is a very rare one indeed. And tune in Friday when you get to see our next Big Jack Films reviews on Sailor Moon. Not a full review of the show, but a certain Let's Talk discussion video of things that I think they need to improve with certain releases. So there you go. So until the next video, guys, like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys later. This is Big Jack Films signing off, saying stay safe, and for those who are new here, welcome to the channel. Go check out our library of videos, and we hope you enjoy, and if you ever want to help, let us know. Later on, Stay safe, guys. Peace.